Hi everyone, my name is Laura and welcome to Book Bubbler. I have a little confession to make. I have a lot of TBRs in my house. To be a little closer to the truth, I have around 2,400 unread books in my house. This includes some books for work and a couple of more like coffee table books, I guess you could say. Photography and art and gardening, whatever, but it's mostly just regular old books that need to be read. I would like to, in the time over the next I would say year, but let's be realistic here. It's not going to take me a year. It'll probably take me years, but I would like to kind of have that. And whether that's just like wholesale going through and cutting things out that I haven't read and just calling it a day and check them out from the library, buy them again later if I want to read them, or if it's by me reading them, weeding out series I don't like that I own most of or whatever, I don't know. But I'm trying to find a way to chunk it up in some kind of semi-regular fashion. So I was talking to my in real life friend Jenna, hi Jenna, and chatting with my new friend Shannon of That So Po in her comment section, and she suggested I try a chapter Unhaul edition. So that's what I'm doing today. I have my little mini stack here. I'm not like Olive, I can't hold a massive thing. These 5 are enough. This morning I spent a little time over my little cup of coffee and read the first chapter of each of these. Now, most of these have been in my library for at least 10 years, if not more. One is from the 90s. So anyways, without further ado, I will go through each of the 5 and read the inside flap or wrap it up a little bit, and then I will reverse it in order and tell you what I thought of them and if I'm saving it or not or whatever. So first up is The Piano Tuner by Daniel Mason. This is historical fiction. This is the first edition. I've had this since 2002 when it was first published. Yes, I'm crazy. This is set in Burma in 1886, it starts out with. This is Daniel Mason's first novel too. So there is a colonel in Burma that is doing a good job in the eyes of the crown, colonizing a little bit and keeping the peace in these little rural pockets. And he kind of oddly demanded that they send him a baby grand piano. So the army eventually sent him a piano, but now it's super out of tune. So he demanded that they send a piano tuner, to go over and tune it up for him, and it was really necessary. So I am not sure where this is going to go, if I continue or not. Teaser. But so that's what this one little is about. Next up is The Imperfectionists by Tom Rachman. This is also a first edition. You will see I have a problem. So I've had this since 2010, so only a decade. That's not bad at all. This is about an Italian newspaper. Italian, yes, in Rome. It's an English language newspaper trying to stay afloat. So it's all this little cast of characters in this Roman English language newspaper office. Next up is One Day by David Nicholls. I don't mind movie tie-in versions, generally speaking. Sometimes they're really horrendous, but I bought it because of the movie, so whatever. So this one is about this couple, friends, lovers, enemies, I'm not sure how it all goes, love story about these people that meet in college and then keep in touch. You check in with them over one day over, I think it's 20 years. So there's this one. And then next this is my 1995 one. This is A Dog's Life by Peter Mayle. It is a very little slim, actually I think this is an ARC, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't matter. Anyways. It's a little novel told from, the dog is the main narrator, so it's told from his life. There are little illustrations throughout it. Slim little thing. And then this one was a panic buy a few years ago. I walked into what I thought was a regular used bookstore or smaller independent bookstore that I hadn't seen before in my city, which seems like an impossibility. But we walked in and it was all mass markets, like half was mass markets and the other half was magazines, and the bulk of that was probably porn. I didn't go over there and look, but I was sort of like, oh, there's a lot of single men shuffling things in their pockets. I'm going to go on the other side. So, and the woman at checkout was someone that I worked with at the time at the library. She was the checkout person. So I felt like I had to buy something. So I bought this, Hard-Hearted Highlander by Julia London. This is a very serious look at Central American politics. I'm kidding. It's a love story. Romance novel set in the Highlands. The main guy, Rabbi, is, I think, the second son. It is set in the early 1800s, shortly after, or not too far from Culloden, however you say it. And he's supposed to marry this English woman, this English girl that he doesn't know or like, but he falls for her very, like spicy, feisty governess. So this one. So those are the 5 that I read a chapter of in reverse order. This one, it was fine. I've never read Julia London before. I am newer to the romance genre, and I know I've mentioned before, there's more that I don't like than I do like, I'm finding. This was fine. It was fine. It was just one chapter, so just from Rappy's point of view. I don't really care about it. This is number 3 in a series, which if I had known, I would not have purchased number 3. This was also the least, I mean, despite the cover, the least embarrassing, heaving bosomy copy that was in the shop. Yeah, and it's fine, no problem with those, but I was like, oh, I'll just take this one that's set in Scotland. I like Scottish things, fine, I'll take it. It was fine. I think I'm going to get rid of it, though. I don't need the middle of a series or the end. I'm not even sure if it's a trilogy, but I have other stuff set in Scotland that I think I will like more, so this is going to go. A Dog's Life, Peter Mayle. This was cute, and I really liked the little illustrations. I mean, it's just little line drawings, but if I didn't love Peter Mayle, he is totally a comfort reader to me. If I am really in a slump, I will pick up one of his novels. I only have 3 of his mysteries left, and I have, I believe, 2 of his fiction works left, and then that's it. Oh no, I have 2 travel memoirs also. So I could read another one, but I'm eking them out, and he passed away last year. So that's going to be kind of it after I read these like 6 books. So I don't think I'll read this now, but I am going to save it since I am collecting all of his books and I need this for my little collection. I don't know. This was fine, and I like stories that follow characters over time. I like checking in, I like the premise, checking in with these people on the same day every year over a certain length of time. But I don't know. I think I'd rather just watch the movie. Is that bad? I'm going to get rid of it. If it's a mistake, tell me, because I won't be going to half price for a little while. I can always take it back if I want to, but yeah, no. Another. This was fine. It reminded me a little bit of Peter May's Enzo Files series, if anyone has ever read that mystery series before. It had that same kind of a feeling, though it was written, 15, 20 years afterwards, I think. I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to let this go too. The fact that I've had this on my shelves unread for 10 years, and the bulk of those years it has been on a try it to get rid of it pile, that's probably a sign I should get rid of it. So this is going to go as well. Ooh, sorry. Exciting. And the very last one, The Piano Tuner by Daniel Mason. I have seen the movie for this. At least I think it's this movie with Edward Norton and Naomi Watts, and I liked it. It was good. I think if I read this, I would enjoy it, but I don't think I would give it more than a 3, which is good. It's a good book, fine, nothing too bad, nothing too great, just middle of the road. And I would rather not read a middle of the road book knowing that it's going to be that way going in, so I'm going to let this one go too. So that is 4 out and 1 on my shelf, but really it's going to go into one of my bins that go in my basement because Sadly, the bulk of my, not bulk, probably half of my library is in labeled bins in the basement. I do have them separated by read and unread, otherwise I would not have a prayer of remembering stuff. But yeah, so if you want a shelf tour, it would be very shaky and you would see the rest of my crazy house in the process. Let me know. I probably won't do a basement book tour just because it's an old basement. You don't want to see that. It's like 20% spiders probably, if not more. And yeah, you don't want to see it. I might at some point bring up a bin at a time to sort through, and if I do that, I will go through each book and reevaluate it. Maybe I can do a little series of that if that's interesting. Not sure. Yeah, let me know what you think. This was good and a good way to start slowly taking little chips away from my ridiculous amount of TBRs. And I mean, I don't mind having a lot of books to choose from. There is a website, and I will find the link below. I think it's on readitforward.com, but I am not sure there. Like I said, I will link it right underneath in the description. But you can figure out how long it would take you to read your physical TBR or whatever, your TBR of any sort. So you input like the number of books that you own, how many books you read last year, and I think it's how many books you read the year before that. And then it calculates how long it would take you to read your entire library. Stuff like that is fun for me. I always like magazine quizzes and things like that. So I did this a couple of months ago, and based on my reading speed, it would take me, I think it was 11 years to read my library, which isn't terrible, but I look at the age that I'll be, it gives you the age you'll be to and the day that you'll finish on, and like I'll be in my 50s, and that is really horrifying. So yeah, I'll link that below. Hopefully that will change as my number drops down for physical TBRs. I don't count ebooks because they take up no space. I probably have 300 on there. A lot of them were from when I first got my Kindle about 6 years ago, and they were either free or cheap. I just got them because they were free or cheap, and they weren't like a cultivated, oh, I really want to read this thing. It was more like, ooh, fun, this book is free, I'll get it, kind of a thing. And I don't count audiobooks either, though I probably should do a video outing myself there because there's probably at least 50 or 60 that I haven't listened to. I've been a member of Audible for a long time. Oh, that's kind of cringy to think about. Anyways, that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed this. Any comments? Did I make a mistake? Have you read anything here that you think I should take back? I don't know. And yeah, I'm going to get to scrubbing my bathtub, which I don't want to do. Who wants to do that? It's a crappy job, but it's got to get done. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.